I had a job, a roof, a life. Then I came home and found an eviction notice I didn't deserve. 12 days later, I was homeless. Not because I failed it, but because my father wanted me to. 3 months ago, I had a job, a small apartment, and a pretty stable, boring life. Worked at a parts warehouse during the week, helped out at a friend's auto shop on weekends for cash. I wasn't ballin', but I was surviving. Then one Thursday in January, I came home to find an eviction notice taped to my door. Not because I didn't pay, I paid every damn month. On time. In cash sometimes, because my landlord didn't trust the system. Turns out the whole building had been sold and the new owner wanted it emptied. He gave everyone 30 days. I had 12 left when I found out. I called my dad. That was mistake number 1. This is the man who told me, don't come running to me when the world kicks you in the teeth. Stand up like a man or stay down like a dog. So when I called him, I didn't even ask to move in. I just said, hey dad, things are rough right now. Lost my place. Just letting you know. He sighed that sigh and said, well, maybe now you'll learn to save better. Click. No offer to help. No, stay here for a few days. Not even a you'll figure it out. Just a guilt trip and a dial tone. 12 days later, I was living out of my car. I parked on the quiet side of the city, near a church that didn't ask questions. Showered at the gym when I could. Ate what I could get at the shelter or from vending machines. I told myself it was temporary. Just a rough patch. A month tops. Then my car died. Like, completely died. Engine seized up on the freeway. Towed and impounded because I couldn't afford to fix it or move it. And just like that, I was on the street. Sleeping behind building. Under stairwells. In alleyways with a pocket knife under my pillow. Here's the kicker, I never told anyone. Not my dad. Not my sister. Not even my best friend. I felt too ashamed. Too damn embarrassed. And honestly, I kept thinking someone's going to offer help if they care enough to notice. No one did. Now fast forward to this morning. My phone, the only thing I've managed to keep going with free charging at libraries and McDonald's, buzzes around 9 a.m. It's my dad. Haven't heard from him since that last call 3 months ago. I pick up. He sounds cheery. Happy birthday, son. I just froze. Standing in line at a soup kitchen, wearing the same hoodie I've had for a month, dirt under my nails, hungry as hell, and he's calling to say happy birthday like we're tight. Then he goes, you doing anything special today? I almost laughed or cried. I couldn't tell which one was trying to come out first. I said, yeah man, real special. Got 2 oranges this morning instead of 1. He chuckled, still got that sarcastic streak, huh? That's my boy. That's when I broke. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, you know I've been homeless for 3 months, right? Silence. Dead air. Then well, you should have said something sooner. That hit harder than anything. I asked him, why would I? So you could judge me faster? He said something about personal responsibility and how he warned me life was hard. Then he made it about himself. You think it's easy being a father and seeing your son fail? Fail. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash the phone. Instead, I just asked him, what exactly did I fail at? Surviving. He went quiet again. Then he actually said this word for word. You know, if you just settled down, got a real job like your cousin Troy, you wouldn't be in this mess. Troy, the guy who's been divorced twice, got busted for a fake insurance claim, and works at his father-in-law's car lot. That's my dad's gold standard. I hung up. Didn't say bye. Didn't say thanks. Just ended it. Now I'm sitting in the corner of a 24-hour diner, using their Wi-Fi to type this out on an old laptop a church volunteer gave me. I've got a half cup of coffee, $3 left, and no idea where I'm sleeping tonight. And all I can think is, how do you heal from a father who never wanted you to win unless it looked the way he wanted? It was about 6 hours after I made that post. I was still sitting in the diner. No food left, just sipping ice water and watching the same 3 old guys argue about football 2 booths down. I had nowhere to be, so I just stayed. Then around 8:45 p.m., I see this gray Toyota Corolla pull up outside. I didn't think anything of it until I saw who stepped out. My sister, Megan. I hadn't seen her in over a year. We used to be close when we were younger, before she got married, bought a house, and turned into a smaller version of our dad. Always too busy, always judging. I didn't even know she knew where I was. She walked in like she owned the place, scanned the room, saw me in the back corner, and headed straight over. I thought she'd say hi or something casual, but no. First thing out of her mouth, you look like you've been hit by a truck. Thanks, Megan. Great to see you too. I asked her how she found me. She said Dad told her. So yeah, he did know. He knew I was living rough, and he just handed that off like a task. Like, hey Meg, since you're in town, go check on your useless brother. She sat down without asking, took one look at my laptop, and whispered, are you posting about this online? I didn't answer. She already knew. She lowered her voice and said, look, I don't have a lot of time, but I figured I'd come see for myself before things got worse. I asked her, what's worse than this? She pulled out a freaking folder. Not a phone, not a card, an actual folder. Inside were job listings, shelter addresses, volunteer programs, and get this, a bus ticket to go live in Arizona with our Uncle Jeff. I laughed, like really laughed, out loud. Jeff, the guy who literally told me at Christmas that poor people are poor because they think small? The guy who called me a beta for working a warehouse job? I told her no thanks. She said, don't be stupid. You need structure. You need someone to get you back in shape. You need to stop acting like this is normal. That's when I snapped. I told her this isn't normal. None of it. Not Dad making me feel like I've been a disappointment since I was 10. Not her coming in here with a damn itinerary for my life like I'm a project. Not me sleeping behind a bowling alley last night with a busted zipper on my jacket and praying it didn't rain. Then she dropped a bomb. Dad's cutting you out. I blinked. Cutting me out of what? The family Christmas potluck? No, his will. That was so hilarious. serious? I nearly spit my water out. Turns out, and I had no idea, my dad has a life insurance policy and some land he inherited from my grandpa that's apparently worth 6 figures now. I didn't know because I've never been part of that discussion. Megan and Troy, our cousin, were. I was the underachiever, the one who chose to struggle. And now that I'm homeless, I'm the family embarrassment. Megan told me dad was worried that if something happened to him, I'd waste the money or sell off the land for quick cash. So instead, he's giving it to Troy. Troy, the man who once borrowed 5 grand from me and never paid me back. The guy who drinks 4 Loco in the morning and got fired from a gas station for yelling at a dog. I asked Megan why she was even telling me this. Was this pity? A weird guilt trip? She said, and I'll never forget this because I don't want you showing up at the funeral like some surprise. My mouth went dry. She wasn't warning me. She was preemptively cutting me off, so no one had to feel awkward when I came around later asking questions. She stood up, said, there's still a seat on that bus tomorrow. Don't call me if you change your mind. Just go. And just like that, she was gone. I sat there in the booth until they closed up. Didn't move, didn't speak, just sat there with that folder open, staring at job ads I'd already seen 100 times and addresses I couldn't afford to get to. That night I didn't sleep, not even a nap. I stayed on a bench by the train station and just stared at my phone screen. Battery died around 3 a.m. Didn't even care. Next morning, I walked into a community center just to charge up and maybe grab some oatmeal if they had any left. That's when things got weird. A guy I didn't recognize, maybe mid-40s, bald, nice shoes, taps me on the shoulder and says, "Are you Kyle?" I said yeah. He smiled and said, "Your dad sent me. I'm here to help you." What? He pulls out a card, independent recovery coach. He says my dad hired him to mentor me back to normal life. I told him I wasn't a damn project. He said, "It's not about judgment. Your father's just worried about your direction." Direction? I asked him if my dad told him I was homeless. He said yes. I asked if he mentioned he hadn't done anything to help. Guy said, "That's not for me to decide." I walked out. So now I'm wondering, was the phone call just a setup? A birthday gift wrapped in control? 3 months of silence. Then a fake happy birthday. Then my sister shows up. Then some hired recovery coach? What even is this? Anyway, it's been 2 days since that happened. I'm still processing. Still homeless. Still working on getting things together. But now I know something for sure. My family doesn't want me back. They want me to disappear quietly. I'm not going to. 2 days after that weird life coach ambush from my dad, I got a DM on Facebook. Random name I didn't recognize, Rachel B. It just said, "Hey, you probably don't remember me, but I saw your sister's post. Wanted to reach out." I tapped the message. Scrolled up. No previous chats. Checked her profile. Then it hit me. Rachel was my cousin's ex. We talked once at a wedding 6 years ago. I gave her my coat when it started snowing. That's literally all I remembered. She said Megan, my sister, had been posting on Facebook about getting my troubled brother back on the right track. Apparently, she made this whole public campaign. Some story about how I ran off, turned down all help, and was now choosing to live on the street to make a statement. Yeah, a statement. Rachel screenshotted the posts for me. Megan painted me as this self-destructive rebel who turned down housing, jobs, even therapy. She made it sound like I wanted to be homeless. Said dad tried everything a loving father could and that it just broke his heart every day. The comments under it were wild. Some people can't be saved. Tough love is still love. Glad you tried, Meg. You're a good sister. And then I saw it. Troy commented, honestly, he always wanted to fail. Kyle hated working. He just wants handouts. That one physically hurt. Like, good punch level. Troy, the guy who used to steal cash from grandma's purse, was calling me lazy. And people were liking the comment. The post had over 120 reactions. And not a single one, not one, was from someone asking if I was okay. Or where I was. Or how they could help. I don't know what I expected. Maybe not love, but silence? Would have been better than public judgment. Rachel said she messaged me because she knew something felt off. You weren't that kind of person, she wrote. Not back then. It was the nicest thing anyone had said to me in weeks. Then came the real punch. She told me Megan also posted my photo. A current one she hadn't taken. That's when my hands started shaking. Because I haven't been on social media in months. I haven't posted any pics. So how the hell did Megan get one? That's when it hit me, the diner. She must have taken a picture when she showed up. Probably when I was staring down at that stupid folder of bus tickets. I didn't notice. And now my face is out there like some lost cause. I logged out. Couldn't look at it anymore. Later that night, around 11 p.m., I was outside a 24-hour laundromat near the industrial side of town. Just sitting against the brick wall, keeping my head down. I had my backpack between my knees. It had everything: phone charger, portable battery, ID, little bit of cash, notebook, socks, and the old flip wallet with photos of my mom from when she was still, Mom. Some guy sat on the other end of the bench. Didn't say anything, just smoked and stared off. 10 minutes later, I blinked and my bag was gone. I don't even know how. Sleight of hand? Someone else swooped in while I was zoned out? I jumped up, looked around, ran the block, even yelled down the alley. Nothing. Gone. Just like that. I ran inside the laundromat, asked the lady at the counter if she saw anything. She just shook her head and went back to folding sheets. Didn't care. You don't realize how much of your life is in one bag until it disappears. That night I didn't sleep. Again, just walked in circles until the sun came up. By morning, the only thing I had left was my phone dead and my jacket. So I walked 6 miles to the church I used to volunteer at when I had weekends off. I figured maybe they'd recognize me. Maybe someone there still had a little faith in me. And yeah, they did. There was this guy named Jonah. He used to run the food bank and he remembered me from when I helped load pallets gifts during the holidays. He let me use the outlet in the office. Gave me a bottled water and a protein bar. No questions asked. Then he asked, "Is it true what your dad said?" I froze. Asked him what he meant. He said a couple of the regulars had been talking. Apparently, my dad had been telling people at the men's breakfast group that I was dangerous, mentally unstable, and might lash out if approached. I don't even know what to say at this point. My own father is out here running PR damage control like I'm some unhinged ex-con. I told Jonah straight up that's not true. He said, "I know it's not." That meant more than I can describe. He gave me a prepaid debit card with $20 on it and told me where the best shelter was that didn't ask too many questions. I went there that night. It was rough, loud, packed, and one of the guys wouldn't stop coughing. But it was a roof and a cot, and I didn't have to sleep with one eye open for once. I laid there staring at the ceiling, thinking about all of it. The lie Megan told on Facebook, the stolen backpack, the fact that I was being talked about in church circles like some cautionary tale, and that somewhere my father was likely telling himself he tried his best. He didn't. He wanted me to disappear. He just didn't expect me to show back up in stories, in screens, in real life, refusing to be erased. I knew something was off the second the staff at the shelter said, "You've got a visitor." Visitors don't happen here. Not like that. It's a night shelter. People come in to sleep, not socialize. So when I stepped into the front office and saw my dad in his golf jacket and boat shoes standing with his arms crossed like he was waiting for a table at a restaurant, I froze. He looked me up and down like he was inspecting a used car. "You look like hell," he said. "No hello." "No, how are you?" I just said, "What do you want?" He sighed like he was the one tired of the drama and pulled out an envelope. Said it was a peace offering. Inside, a one-way Greyhound ticket. Destination, Tulsa. With a note that said, "Start fresh. Don't come back." He called it a second chance. I called it exile. I asked him, "Why Tulsa?" He said, "You've got no connections there." That's the point. I just shook my head. He wasn't offering help. He was disposing of me. Then, as if the insult wasn't clear enough, two cops walked in behind him. He immediately turned and said, "Officers, this is the young man." I stepped back. My heart dropped. One of the officers asked for my name. I said, "Yeah, that's me." Then he pulled out a small notebook and said, "We've had a complaint filed about a potential trespass situation involving a private residence, possibly a family home." My voice got caught in my throat. "You filed a complaint?" I asked my dad. He said calmly, "It's a misunderstanding. I just want to be sure there's no confusion about where you're staying." That's when I realized he was trying to get something on record, something official. So if I ever came near the house again, my childhood home, he'd have a file on me. I looked at the cops and said, "I haven't been to that house in months. I've been sleeping in shelters and behind restaurants." The older officer nodded, clearly getting the picture. "We're just doing a welfare check. No one's in trouble." But my dad? He just turned and walked out. Didn't wait. Didn't say goodbye. He left the ticket on the counter, and the door slammed shut behind him. The officer asked if I had somewhere safe to be that night. I nodded. He gave me a card for a local outreach program. Told me to be careful. They left, and I stood there in the lobby of a homeless shelter with a bus ticket to a city I'd never been to and a dad who was actively trying to erase me from the family tree. Later that night, I overheard one of the staff whisper to another guy, "That's the kid whose dad tried to red flag him with the police. Rich guy with the boat." I'm the story now. Next morning, I'm at a library, trying to use the Wi-Fi. I get a notification on my email, new login alert. From my old Gmail, the one I stopped using 6 months ago because I got locked out. Guess who logged in? Troy. Yeah, that Troy. How do I know? Because 2 minutes later, I got a forwarded email from one of my old contacts at work, someone I'd emailed for a potential job last year. The reply said, "Thanks, but we've already been contacted by someone claiming Kyle won't be a good fit right now. Sounds like he's struggling mentally." That wasn't me, and I know exactly who would send that kind of sabotage. Troy has always been in Dad's pocket. Always the yes man, always looking for a payout. And guess who's gunning for the land I was just cut out of? Yep, him. He wants it, and the only person standing in the way was me. So now it's not just character assassination. It's a full smear campaign, behind closed doors, on paper. Even my damn Gmail, I changed the password, reported the activity, but the damage is already done. That job's gone. That bridge? Burned. By nightfall, I found myself standing outside the old gas station near where I used to work, just looking through the window, remembering what it felt like to be normal, to have a routine, a place to clock in, people who didn't know your life story or judge you by your last name. That's when I saw her. Karen. Not my ex, not a girlfriend, just someone I used to work with. We shared a shift for 6 months. She used to bring me cookies from her aunt's bakery when she had extras. She walked out of the station, saw me, paused, then smiled. "You okay?" she asked. Soft voice. No judgment. I broke. I didn't cry. Not out loud, but something in me cracked. She asked if I needed food. I said no. She asked if I needed anything. I said a win. That night she gave me one. She let me crash on the couch in her studio apartment. Nothing fancy, just space, quiet, a roof, for hours of sleep that didn't feel like a war zone. She said, "You've still got people who believe in you." I didn't say it, but I believed her. I became the problem they couldn't contain. After crashing at Karen's for a few days, she insisted I finally had some breathing room, enough Wi-Fi, food, and mental clarity to think. That's when I started pulling receipts, literal ones, every document, every photo, every email I could still access. Anything I had stored in old cloud backups, Gmail, Google Docs. I was in survival mode for so long, I forgot I used to be pretty organized. And then I remembered, 3 years ago, I'd taken a backup of our family group chat when I switched phones. A full export. court, all the way back to 2016. Guess what I found? Messages from my dad saying, and I quote, "We don't owe Kyle anything. If he wants to live like a stray, that's on him." From Megan, "He's always been the family embarrassment. Let him rot." From Troy, "We should keep him away from grandpa's land. It's a waste." And get this, my dad admitted in one chat with Megan that he used money from my college savings to help Troy with a DUI lawyer. I never even knew I had a college fund. That was the last straw. I sat down with Karen and said, "I'm done hiding. I want people to know." So I did what I've never done before. I told everything. I wrote the entire story start to finish and posted it publicly. Not here, not Reddit, but Facebook, and not from a burner. From my real profile, I attached every screenshot, every message, every photo of my stolen backpack, the forged emails, the police visit at the shelter, everything. I included the video of my dad showing up with the cops, the Greyhound ticket, and even the blurry shelter security cam footage of him turning his back and walking out. I titled it, "My Father Tried to Erase Me. This is what really happened." I posted it at midnight. By 6 a.m., it had over 11,000 shares. By noon, it was trending locally. Turns out, when someone tells the truth loud enough, people listen. I didn't tag anyone, but people knew. People from high school, from church, from my old jobs. Everyone who thought I just fell off. They messaged me. They apologized. They said they believed me. And then the real kicker, a reporter reached out. No joke, local news. Said they were working on a segment about homelessness and family abandonment, and someone forwarded them my post. They asked if I'd be willing to speak on camera. At first I hesitated, but then I thought about every lie my dad had told. Every time Megan tried to frame me as some unhinged loser. Every time Troy snuck in another whisper behind my back. I said yes. That interview aired 3 days ago. And you know what happened? Everything broke. Here's the fallout. Troy got fired. He worked for a public-facing insurance firm. Turns out they don't like when their reps are caught forging emails, sabotaging job applications, and mocking family members experiencing homelessness. Megan deleted her Facebook. Too many comments. Too many people asking her why she posted a picture of me without permission. Why she called me mentally unstable when I was just broke and alone. She couldn't handle the heat. She ghosted. My dad got exposed at church. A deacon read my story out loud during a community forum. The same breakfast group he used to brag in? Now they're asking why he tried to have his son flagged as a trespasser. Why he offered a bus ticket instead of a place to sleep. The best part? The land. My grandfather's land, remember that? Turns out my grandpa's will had a clause in it. A real quiet one. One that stated any family member caught intentionally harming another family member's livelihood or safety would forfeit their inheritance. Yeah, guess who got disqualified? My dad. And guess who had a copy of that will? Aunt Denise. The one who left town years ago because she couldn't stand how her dad treated us. She saw the video, reached out, sent me a PDF, said, "If you want to challenge them legally, I'll back you." Now I've got a meeting with a lawyer next week. A real one. One that's not working for anyone in my family. And here's the thing. I don't want revenge. I want truth. I want the lies off my back. The stories untangled. I want my name back because I've been homeless or even hopeless. The lawyer my Aunt Denise connected me with? Legit. She didn't just read my post. She researched my entire situation. I handed over the will clause, the screenshots, the fake Gmail activity, the police encounter, all of it. She told me flat out, "You've got a case. And not just a family dispute, civil liability, defamation, even a potential criminal complaint for the forgery if we pushed it." So we did. She sent formal notices to Troy, my dad, and my sister. Megan never responded. Troy sent back some boilerplate email from a lawyer that basically said my client denies all allegations. My dad? He didn't even pretend anymore. Just sent a handwritten letter that said, "You've embarrassed this family enough. Keep pushing and you'll regret it." That line stuck in my head. You'll regret it. It wasn't just the tone. It was the certainty, the confidence. That's when I started watching my back again. And it turns out I should have, because 2 weeks later, something happened I did not expect. I came home one night, Karen's place where I'd been staying, and found her standing in the middle of the living room holding a letter. Not a regular letter. Legal letterhead. My name at the top. She looked pale. Said, "Why is there a subpoena with my name on it?" I took the letter and read it, and my heart dropped through the floor. She was listed as a witness for my father. Apparently, he'd filed a motion claiming I had manipulated public opinion, that I'd coerced a vulnerable acquaintance into sheltering me, and get this, that Karen was part of a coordinated smear campaign against him. I asked her if she knew anything about this. She just stared at me and said, "Kyle, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't think it mattered, but I used to work with Troy. We dated years ago. I felt the room tilt. I didn't think you'd even remember me," she said. "When I saw you at the gas station, I panicked. I felt guilty, but I didn't want to hurt you." I asked her flat out, "Did you tell him where I was?" She hesitated. That was all I needed. Karen had been feeding him info. Maybe not constantly, maybe not maliciously, but enough. Enough for them to know I was at the shelter. Enough to know I was writing the story. Enough to twist the narrative before I ever got my voice back. I walked out, took nothing but my jacket and my phone. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't talk. I just walked for miles until my legs went numb and my head was buzzing. She reached out the next day, apologized, said she never meant for it to go that far. But the damage was done. The trial didn't happen because just days after the subpoena hit, my dad dropped everything. Why? Because someone else came forward. One of his old business partners. This guy, Tom Reynolds, messaged me directly and said, "I've seen enough. Your father's done this before." To his own brother. To me. He shared emails, documents, proof that my dad had a pattern, cutting people off, burying them in legal threats, forging signatures, manipulating wills. He didn't just just do it to me. He made a career out of it. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. She filed a cease and desist and a formal countersuit. 3 days later, Dad withdrew the entire case. Troy ghosted. Megan deleted every account she had. And just like that silence, today, I'm not rich, I'm not famous, I'm not fixed, but I'm free. I moved out of the city, got a small studio. I work remotely now, doing freelance work for a non-profit that actually read my original post and offered me a gig. I sleep without fear, and I don't owe anyone a damn thing. I haven't spoken to my dad since, not a word. He's tried calling, left one voicemail saying, "You've made your point, now grow up." That message? I play it when I need to remind myself why I walked away. As for Karen, we haven't spoken since I left. I don't hate her, but I'll never trust her again.